Very good.
Good. So I'm just going to wait for a few people to start coming in. We've got a few. Okay. So hello, Finimizers, and welcome to another Finimize Live. I'm John, as an analyst here at Finimize, and it's great to have you all with us and welcome you to today's event, which is how to find an opportunity in a broken crypto market, which we certainly seem to be in right now. I'm joined by Ouriel and Jonathan, who is the CEO of Zengo Crypto Wallet, a wallet that's been around since 2018, so quite a long time in crypto. As part of this webinar, all attendees will get access to Zengo's promotion, where you'll get $10 in Bitcoin with your first purchase of crypto. So head on over to the chat box to find out more, and you can get the code, and you can also scan the QR code on the screen with your phone. So I'm going to quickly just run through a few housekeeping rules, so we're all on the same page before we get going. So first of all, introduce yourself in the chat if you haven't already. Say hello and where you're tuning in from. Remember that we can switch to all attendees, not just panelists. Otherwise, no one else will see your messages. This is a 15-minute conversation between myself and Ouriel, where I'll ask a few questions. And then after that, your questions will be asked. So remember to use the QA box to ask those questions to our guests. And if you see a question in the box from someone else that you like, you can upvote it, and that will then move it straight to the top. So we can get to the most upvoted questions first. Okay, so that's the formalities out the way. I think we'll kick things off. First of all, Ouriel, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good. Welcome. The first question, I think it's a question probably on everyone's mind, and I'll be interested to get your take on it. So, there's obviously a lot of bearish sentiments in the crypto market right now. Bitcoin's trading at around $20,000. It's come down about 70% from $69,000 high in November last year. And altcoins have come down a lot more than that, with many of them down more than 90%. What's your take on all of this? I mean, is this a normal Bitcoin bear market or crypto bear market? Or is it something that just kind of is par for the course and seems to happen every 4 years or so? And we're probably just going to come back further down the line.
Yeah, I think if we zoom out already, we have to recognize and acknowledge that there is a global economical meltdown, right? And not just a crypto meltdown. Everything, every sector, every stock, every public asset has been affected in the past in this down cycle. And that has been the result of multiple macroeconomic effects accumulated over the years, accelerated also by the COVID crisis and the way it was handled. And obviously it has snowballed over many types of asset classes, including crypto. So I think we have to start with that. And, we see that already on a day-to-day with hyperinflation, the cost of goods, the cost of living, the taxes, the level of debts, the difficulties that some companies have to deal with the financial reality of things. Number two, indeed, in crypto specifically, there's been a very, very long and strong bull period that has also led to some excess that had to be corrected. And some events have triggered a domino chain of meltdowns, right? Whether they are certain blockchains like Terra Luna, or specific projects that were depending on it, and some other projects that have collapsed down the road, and all that has triggered a massive correction of this industry that has been in a bull period for a couple of years. Now, if you know crypto long enough, as we do at Zengo, and ups and downs are part of the cycle. It's not the first crypto crash. There have been many. I've lived personally already one, a very strong one. And you need to acknowledge that this is part of a cycle of evolution towards a new system. Once you think about it that way, you just leave it in a more normal or more, you are accommodated with that reality. It is painful, but it is necessary. When you go through a revolution, you cannot go through a straight line. There is the same thing happened with the internet 20 years ago. When the revolution of the internet arrived, it was the dot-com bubble, etc. So I think it's just like part of this thing. And the way we look at it is, very simple. It's part of this cycle of a revolution cycle of bull and bear, which will be followed by another bull period. That's number one. Number two, I think we are in a phase of healing and digesting, right? When you ride a bike super fast and that you fall off the bike, you don't ride right away, right? And you first heal, you just rest, and you let the scars disappear, and you get back on the bike, and we will get back on the bike. We will not stop biking. And so we are in that phase where we are right now healing. I'm not sure, by the way, the downtrend is over. It could be that there will be some other effects, and that the price of the asset class of crypto will still go down to another lower level. So there is some unknown there. But one thing is certain, is that at some point it will come back to. So we just need to embrace that moment. It is a difficult phase. It's a phase of healing. It's a phase of digesting, but it's a necessary moment before moving to the next phase, where people are building better solutions to improve and not repeat the mistakes of the past.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, it's a much smaller market than other markets, obviously. So, you know, when equities and stocks go down, it's going to take a much bigger hit, and we've seen it on the upside too. So, yeah, I tend to agree with your view. I think it was well laid out, and there's a lot there that makes a lot of sense. Given that, you know, we're kind of in agreement here, I think it brings us quite nicely to our next topic, which is crypto storage.
Sure.
You know, it's obviously something that's very important, keeping your crypto secure. But before we get to some more, I guess, technical type of questions, I think just for everyone, so we're all on the same page, could you just explain what a crypto wallet is and how that's different from keeping your crypto on an exchange?
Yeah, I mean, first we need to understand how money is usually kept. Usually money is kept in databases that are controlled by companies, right? When you have money in a bank, when you have an account with PayPal, or when you have an account with Cash App, your money is virtually represented in a database controlled by an administrator that is present in a company or in an organization. And that's how money has been for the past, let's call that 50 years, 5 decades. And so this is really how we've dealt with money forever. And with crypto, there is a new paradigm where instead of being held into a private controlled system, the asset is actually exposed by design, by default, publicly to everyone. Everything is public. And the second more important difference is that not just is public, it is controlled by the people who own it through a private key, right? So it's like a code, right? Or the equivalent of a password to a login that allows you to not just see what someone owns, but also to send that funds from one place to another. And so in order to manage that access, usually you need a crypto wallet. This is what you need. A crypto wallet can be a software on the computer, a software on your mobile phone. Sometimes it can be a hardware, but you need that interface to handle what is publicly available, so you can know exactly what you own and what you can move. And so a crypto wallet function is primarily to help you see what you own and control what you own and spend what you own. And so you need to do that by way of a public key, which is a public address, an equivalent of an email address or a login, and a private key, which allows you to spend that money. This is how public blockchains work: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on, and now even NFTs. The problem with that is that you as a user need to understand what it means to secure the control of that wallet, to secure the private key and the backup of that private key, because if you lose it, if someone takes control of it, there is no "I forgot my password" button, and your money will be lost, and will be lost forever. It is irreversible. In the banking system, because it's in a database, you just call someone and they fix it like magically because they control everything, but not in a blockchain. And so the challenge of crypto and blockchain and non-custodial wallet is that you need to become a super expert in security. And so that is really, really, really hard. And this is why many people struggle with private key wallets. And by the way, this is why the majority of crypto funds until today are essentially stored in exchanges. Exchanges are companies like Binance, FTX, Coinbase, which are basically banks. They are owning the crypto on behalf of the user, and they put that in a database and they let you access that through a familiar banking interface. But the reality is that you're not doing really crypto. They own it for you. And all the companies that have actually went bankrupt recently were systems that were custodial and closed, and where people lost the control to their crypto. So you don't want to do that because you don't understand what's going on there. On the other side, you have the challenge of being in charge of your own security, and that means that you will maybe make a mistake, or you will be hacked, or you will lose your code, and you don't want that either. So the question is, how can you do crypto right and safe, right? How can it be at the same time in your control, but without the necessity and the pressure of making a mistake or being hacked? And this is where a solution like ours has been developed over the past years. Okay, so that's kind of the challenge of what crypto imposed to the users, avoiding the custodial system of the past, but also avoiding the mistakes that you will naturally make by being in charge of your own funds, being your own bank, as they call it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two sides of the coin. So on the one hand, these exchanges, they've been around a really long time. They've probably seen every trick in the book by now. So a lot of them, the good ones like Binance and that, I'd imagine very, very secure, kind of like when Google started. They didn't have as much security, but then people tried to hack them a lot, and they really beefed up their security and got really, really secure. But then, like you say, if you read the fine print, and particularly for some exchanges like Celsius and Voyager, which are more lending platforms, but if you read the fine print on those exchanges, it might say that your crypto could actually be treated as company debt in the event of a liquidation, which effectively means that it's not really yours. So while these exchanges are very secure, you've got to trust their security. But on the other hand, having your own keys, as you say, that is very secure because it is your crypto. It allows you to do a lot of things. But you've got to be keeping that secure yourself. So yeah, that's a good way to put it. Well, I guess the next question would be moving on. So that is the debate between the two. I guess it's exchanges on the one hand, and then self-custody wallets on the other. But as far as I understand from our discussions before that, Zengo they don't really use private keys at all, which kind of takes them out of that equation. So how does that actually work? If you don't have keys, which are the password, how does that work with wallet storage?
A very good question, and I saw someone was asking it also in the chat, so I think it makes two in one. Great question in the chat. So the world of crypto as we know it today is you have a public key, you have a private key, and this is how you manage your crypto wallet, and all the wallets are built that way. Hardware wallets, software wallets, mobile wallet extensions. And this has led to all the stress and the errors and the funds lost and the NFT stolen, all the things that we read in the news all the time. So that does not work. Even with hardware wallet where you think you are protected, the backup, what is the secret seed phrase that you need to store outside of the wallet is not protected by the hardware. It's protected by you. And so without knowing, you are exposing yourself to errors and to hacks. So where Zengo is fitting here? Well, Zengo is an entirely new generation of crypto wallet that has not been put to the test for 4 years. And what we're doing is we're not using public-private key cryptography. We're using a completely passwordless system, right? Which does not involve the generation of the private key. It's using, and let's be technical for a second, multi-party computation, which is a very well-known domain in the field of cryptography. And what it enables us to do is to eliminate completely the need of a private key and of seed phrases in the user. And what that means is that you can get into a wallet without any hassle of having to remember or store or keep somewhere safe a password or a set of passwords. That's number one. That's the number one breakthrough innovation that we brought to the industry. The second one is that we made an authentication system that guarantees that only you and no one else but you will use your wallet. That means that if someone tries to get into your iCloud account or your email account, they cannot get into your account. And the reason why is because we're using also liveness biometrics, which is battle tested and private. That means that only you can access to your account. So Zengo is eliminating the risk and the worries around seed phrases and private keys because they never exist, but also brings an additional guarantee that only you can use the wallet. And you compare that with any single wallet on the market, every single one of them, it's a vastly superior security model, but also way more convenient in an age where crypto is no longer stored in a vault. You need to be able to use it, right? You need to be able to send your crypto, to send remittances, to buy NFTs, to do all sorts of things and play games and stuff like that. So it is important to have a wallet that is highly convenient. So Zengo is just a simple mobile app. You can try it today. You will see it's very magical experience. You'll get into a wallet in 20 seconds, and your wallet will be there, backed up, ready to be recovered. Even if you lose your phone, even if your phone is completely broken, you can restore it in a few seconds, and no one else but you can use it. So that's great. And so it's super safe to use, and vastly superior. Someone is asking about Trust Wallet. It's vastly superior to any wallet, including the wallet that you just mentioned, because there is no key, there is no password, and no one can hack it for you, and you cannot lose it either. So you compare that to any other wallet, it's a vastly superior value proposition.
It's interesting. I think so. So what you're saying is you're splitting up the key into different shares, so that no one ever owns it, and they're all independent at different points in time. So that does make a lot of sense. I used to work in the hedge fund industry, and institutional solutions, they do kind of do that also. So yeah, that's good. I'm going to move to.
By the way, that's a good point. Today, multi-party computation, the technology that we're using and that we bring to millions of users, is used usually by very rich institutions that protects billions and trillions of dollars on a day-to-day basis. But that technology is not accessible to normal human beings. So we just took that technology and made it available to everyone, and you will not even feel it. But this is what protects you in a way that protects hundreds of billions of dollars for very, very rich corporations.
Yep, I've got a few questions just from the audience. I had one more myself,
sure,
but we'll get to that. But I think what we'll do is go through these first, and then if there's time, we'll get to the last one. But okay, so the first one was to what extent? Okay, so we've talked about the first one, I think. The second one is, what is a custodial wallet? So what's the business model of Zengo? How does that work?
It's actually very boring. There's no revolution here. So in the wallet, the wallet is free. You download it, you get an account for free. You can send and receive crypto multiple chains for free. We make no money there. There are investment products and services in the wallet, the ability to buy, to sell, to swap cryptocurrencies, to earn yield, and soon more. And so we take a cut every time there is an investment. That's simple, very transparent, aligned with with the users. That's it. That's our model.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, actually quite an interesting question here. So Zengo's, this is from Stephen, which blockchains does Zengo work on? Because obviously a lot of the problems between different wallets is that they're not all conducive to work on each blockchain. You've kind of got to have different wallet chains. So, how far along is Zengo in that area in terms of the different blockchains?
Correct. So there is a narrative on the market that you are multi-chain when you support more than just like Ethereum. And but the problem is that you're really supporting only multi-chains if you are really supporting all the elliptic curves. Like there is what is called EVM, like all the chains that are derived from Ethereum, and it's the same blockchain. It's just like swapping a name with another. And so yeah, exactly, it's a virtual machine. And so they will say, Ethereum, Arbitrum, Optimism, all of that, but you still remain in the Ethereum ecosystem. So we are a true multi-chain wallet. First, with the king of the blockchains, Bitcoin. We support Bitcoin, we support Ethereum, and we support, in addition of that, Dogecoin, Tezos, and Binance Chain, and very soon many more. So we are really multi-chain in the sense that it's not just like EVM compatible, and there is all the tokens also associated to Ethereum supported there. We also support NFTs. So you can also mint, buy, sell, transfer NFTs with the wallet. So it's not just like coins and tokens, and there will be more things supported in the future.
So I guess the NFT side is because it's on chain. Because it's on chain, the crypto is actually stored on the blockchain, which means on any wallet like that, you can actually interact with the blockchain. Whereas if you keep it on an exchange, there's other things you can do. You can trade your crypto 24/7, but you can't interact with the blockchain in the same way if it's on an exchange, because it's not effectively connected in the same way. I think the next, I think that's fine. So then from Eric V, do you charge for the storage of the crypto or withdrawals in Zengo? He was asking.
No.
You just said it was free to get in.
Yeah, it's free to get in, to get out, no cost. We also provide, it's also one of the magic powers of Zango, differentiator. We have by far the best customer support of the industry. We run 24/7 with a human operation, answering under 2 minutes to anyone with real answers. That's a massive commitment from the company and from the brand. And this is very helpful to people who are always in need for help and assistance, don't want to feel alone. All of that is free.
Yeah. Okay. I don't see any more questions in the Q&A.
Did you want to speak about?
Well, actually, there's one more. I think what makes Zango different from other wallets. I think we've covered that. But then there's an interesting question, which I think would make sense, is the concept of a Web3 wallet. So, you have these normal wallets that you can use to, as you've explained, you can send, receive, and store crypto with them. But then a Web3 wallet's slightly different. And I think we've kind of touched on that already in terms of interacting with the blockchain a bit more. But maybe just lay out that, explain that a bit more, and the whole concept of a Web3 wallet.
Yeah, a blockchain wallet will interact with a blockchain in the sense that you can send and receive coins or tokens associated to an account. Right, so that's a Bitcoin wallet, for example, will do that, or a Dogecoin wallet will do that. A Web3 wallet interacts with applications that are built on the blockchain and not just coins. So you will connect to an NFT marketplace, to a game, to a name service system, to a DAO, etc. All the type of apps that are built on the blockchain, and the capability of a wallet to interact with those dApps is what makes a wallet a Web3 wallet. And so you need really two special capabilities to be a Web3 wallet. You need to be able to connect with the applications, right? And you need to be able to support the assets that are supported by the decentralized application. One thing that we have introduced also in Zango, which relates to the prior question, how do we differentiate? We have introduced something called ClearSign, which is a firewall protecting the users from malicious interactions with applications, right? So in crypto, you can have your private key stolen. Everyone knows that risk, but you can also have your funds stolen by a malicious smart contract. And so we introduced ClearSign, which is a Web3 firewall protecting you from the ability of a malicious contract to steal your funds or your NFT or your crypto without you being aware of it. And this is another point of differentiation of Zango. And this is something that is deeply needed in Web3 wallets that you don't need usually in normal crypto wallets.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, what do you see? I mean, let's probably switch this off more to kind of opportunities. What do you think is the next big thing in crypto? Because obviously, we've kind of touched on Web3 a bit. Do you see that as a big thing going forward? And how do you see that playing out in the market?
Yeah, well, as I said, we're going to ride the bike again. All right, we have fallen and we are healing, and we'll go riding again, and we'll ride faster and further. So yes, without any doubt, everything will come back and at a stronger speed. I see two major trends that are going to be critical in the next wave of development. The first one is the use case around cryptos being useful to users, and that means many things, but that can be usefulness in the use cases, but also in the type of industries it could be applied to. So I think the utility built on top of blockchain is going to be way more obvious, and not just like the speculation nature which has caused this phase that we're in. The second thing is security. Security is going to be just harder and way worse than it is today, because the number of use cases and the utility built on blockchain is just going to be way more complex than it is today, and therefore the security is going to be way worse. That means that the role of a wallet is going to be increasingly more demanding and more needed to protect the user from the mistakes that he's not even aware that he could be making. And so this is going to just be worse before it gets better. And so I think this is something that is going to need to be built by companies like us or others, so that this industry can grow. Because if you're riding a bike or driving a car without brakes or without airbags, well, there's no point in building cities, right? Everyone's going to kill each other by driving. So this is exactly the state of the industry right now. When you're using a crypto wallet, you're riding a car without a driver, without an airbag, and without brakes, and that's a disaster. And this is exactly what's happening. So I think security is going to be immense need, very, very needed, and it will get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I do think that security is definitely going to become it's important. I mean, if the industry is going to grow, we're obviously going to need, it's critical to the success of the whole industry, I guess. We've actually got a few more questions that have come through now. So that's a good thing. So
sure.
From Karim, well, where do you see Zengo a few years from now? What are the long-term goals?
World domination.
Already.
We just want to become better and bigger. And so we always improving the app all the time. If you don't know it yet, try it. You will see immediately the difference with every single wallet on the market. And we're just keeping doing our thing.
Yep. I think just keep building and going forward. Yes. And this one is a specific question. I'm not sure of the answer, but it's come up from Jamie is, what are your thoughts on iTrust Capital, the investment app for crypto? Have you heard of it? Or?
Sorry?
iTrust Capital. It's coming
up. Never heard of it.
Sorry. Jamie, I've not heard of it. And then one from Lorenzo, the UI in terms of entertainment with the NFTs and cryptos that we store. I think he probably just trying to ask about, the UI of the app itself is what I'm getting from that.
So a few elements of answer. So right now, visually in Zengo, you will not see, like on MetaMask, for example, you will not see the NFTs in the wallet, but this is something that we're building. If you want to see the NFTs associated to wallet, you need to connect to an NFT service like OpenSea or an NFT marketplace or any other NFT Explorer. There are many on the market, and you will see exactly what you own. So that will be true for NFTs. That will be true for ENS. But this is coming in Zengo. We are going to add that capability. The one thing that is very important, though, that I think is associated to the point I was making before, is right now there is a lack of safety and security on how NFTs are presented, because there are two types of NFTs. There is the one that you have actively acquired, right, and you are willingly receiving because you've made the effort, and the one that you are passively receiving, what's called airdrops. And there is right now a big problem with NFT scam and spam, where people are receiving every day all sorts of NFTs because your wallet address is public, and all the interfaces are not handling that really well. Actually, they're doing a really poor job. And the danger is if you are interacting with a malicious NFT, it can steal all your wallet, right? Because you're interacting with a contract that can do stuff on your funds. So right now, this is a problem that is not addressed by the market, but that we will look into.
Yeah, and I think if anything is going to be on-chain, any type of crypto asset or NFT, on-chain can be really, really safe, but it's how safe is that particular blockchain? If it's something like Bitcoin or Ethereum, very, very safe. But as you move to different blockchains lower down, they're not as battle tested. So I guess they're going to have to get more secure, a lot of these. And then, I think that's actually it for now. We've got one more we can probably just get through. Is there a protection against loss of funds in case they connect to the wallets to scam websites? So I guess that would apply generally.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to make sure that you never interact with a scam. So we're building, and ClearSign is one of the solutions, the first solution for that. We're making you aware and including preventing you from doing this kind of thing so it never happens. Right now, there is also product of insurance that cover partially some risk of smart contracts and some risk of systemic hacks, but not of individual scams. I think those products of insurances will come up to the market, but right now there is nothing that is really robust. And all the insurance that the exchanges claim that they have only protect them against systemic risk and not individual risks. So right now you need to be extremely careful with the wallet that you are using. You need to be particularly careful with your private key if you're using a wallet with a private key. And if after today you're still using a wallet with a private key, I'm not sure what I've said, but you missed the main message. And number two, you need to be careful with the dApps and the contracts and the application you are interacting with, and making sure you're always interacting with a trusted application. and be careful of what you're selling and what you're signing and approving. So that's the only way you can avoid that, because once the money's sent, there is no refund, there is no way back. It's game over.
Yeah, and I think just in closing, I think you've kind of touched on another potential opportunity in crypto down the line, and that's insurance. We're going to see that, in my opinion too, that it's going to become very, very important as the industry grows. We're going to need insurance products that can match the security going forward. So I think that's the end of it. Hopefully we've covered all the questions. Thank you everyone for joining, and to Ouriel again for a great talk. I really enjoyed it. And to everyone else, thanks for joining, and make sure to fill out that survey that will come up on your screens after the event. With that said, take care everyone, and bye for now.
Bye-bye.